Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about Visit to the Unknown from Tensei Shitara Slime Talk, and so without any ado let's begin. Visit to the Unknown, 16 Unreasonable Child Part 2. That is because General Michelle is the Governor General and rules over the city. Like a king. Who knows how her death would affect South City? Besides, she is a princess. While General Christophe is a hero and most trusted by the Emperor, he would not kill General Michelle on his own. Even if he had clear evidence that she was connected to the resistance, it was not enough to have her executed, Zaza insisted. I see. Feldera thought. But he pretended like he had known this all along. Of course. And considering all of those facts, is it not even more doubtful that Michelle and Christophe fought? But if there really was someone who thought Michelle was a bother, wouldn't they try to kill her? It seems easier than capturing her. Ramirez was usually quite thoughtless, but this was a surprisingly sharp observation. Feldera became inwardly frantic. What are you saying now, Ramirez? I had just concluded things in a very impressive way. Why are you asking more questions? As Feldera wondered what to do, Zaza came to his rescue. No, Lord Ramirez. It's just as Mr. Feldera says. Zaza talked slowly, as if he were thinking hard. Oh? Zaza, you can do it. Feldera cheered him on. Zaza continued obliviously. It's true that it would seem easier to kill General Michelle if they thought she would get in the way. However, considering the reasons we have just discussed, there is not a good enough reason to harm her. But if you think about it. Zaza then said that this was the best evidence that Jejil had been lying. It would be one thing to present the evidence, arrest, and have a military trial at Central. But an immediate execution by Christophe? That was hard to believe. I had been quick to believe her myself, but now that I think about it, someone cautious like General Michelle would not have foolishly gone against the Empire in such a bold way. So she must have been caught in some trap. The leaders of the support troops nodded at Zaza's words. Michelle's name was famous within the resistance, and knowing her position and achievements led them to believe Zaza's theory. I know. Michelle didn't think her most trusted adjutant would betray her. After all, I could never believe that Beretta would betray me. And like that, Ramirez's guess turned out to be the truth. Feldera nodded. So you understand then. I knew it all along. That is why I've worked so hard to protect you all. Ka ha 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 ha. He laughed. Then he saw the looks of respect he was attracting and felt a strong sense of satisfaction. It went without saying, but it was all just a coincidence. He hadn't even been suspicious when talking with Jejil. He had only been able to deal with the sixth tyrant because he had created a barrier as a precaution once they had all gathered together. It wasn't because he predicted a trap. They would all survive no matter what happened. That was the condition of paradox that Feldera had to maintain, and it was as easy as breathing for him. This was because of Feldera's ultimate skill, Nyarlathotep, which boasted efficient and ridiculously powerful abilities. Now that he had understood this world's rules, Feldera had become a complete and unreasonably powerful being. And so he had succeeded in winning the respect of all that were present. I had assumed that you were all suspicious as well. But more importantly, Zaza, you must try and use that body more properly. He said, ending the conversation while he still looked good. Zaza now felt a deeper respect for Feldera. He was completely fooled, but he did not even suspect it. And it was the same for the rest of the resistance. However, they were not entirely stupid, and they realized that a very important point had been glossed over. I understand now that you saw through the trap and saved us, Mr. Feldera. By the way, how does this trap work? I just don't understand it, but aren't we being assaulted by a nuclear explosion? Yes, that was the biggest mystery. It was one thing to notice the trap. That was amazing. But then shouldn't he have been able to avoid it? Zaza wondered. What kind of confidence, no, skill did it take to neutralize a nuclear explosion? No. It's impossible. They were completely swallowed up by it, and yet not only were there no shockwaves, but there was no heat. This wasn't just a matter of superior technology. Neither the information displayed in his brain nor his experience could explain this phenomenon. As far as Zaza knew, even if their technology had suddenly advanced several generations, this phenomenon would still be impossible. The others of the resistance all looked at each other in puzzlement. You're still going on about that? I suppose you're at too low a level to understand these things. To put it simply, I've led the heat, impact, and toxins away from you all by giving them directivity. Feldera said this with a light-hearted air, but Zaza and the others could not hide their surprise. Ridiculous. I have never heard of such technology. Are you saying that you have control over the laws of physics? But that would make you like some kind of mythological god. The members of the resistance raised their voices in astonishment. It was too much to believe, and it did not seem like the noise would die down any time soon. So you don't believe me? Oh, well. Humans are like that. They can only believe what they can understand. It is the same in all worlds, I suppose. Feldera said this with a cheerful laugh. He gave up any further explanation. It wasn't that he was trying to gloss over it. It just could not be helped. He was only saying the truth, but it was too much for them to understand. However, Zaza remembered his words. Then I will tell you. I am a visitor from another world. You can call me the result of supernatural power, or more simply, the dragon who controls the storm. Yes. What if? No, it couldn't be. The question arose in Zaza's mind, but he didn't have much time to consider it. Feldera laughed confidently and then said something most ridiculous. Yes, I see it now. It seems we have visitors, so we should continue to create a diversion. And Carmen seems to be working very hard. While this made no sense to the others, Zaza understood it. Zaza's sensors were also telling him that Carmen was in a state of combat. And this also proved that had he been using these features in the beginning, he would have been able to see that Jejil was lying. I see. This is amazing. He was impressed, but the problem remained. They were currently in a furnace from hell. Feldera's power was keeping them safe, but they were still trapped by the ether ring barrier. If they couldn't get out of here, there was no way they could continue to create a diversion. Mr. Feldera, you do know that unless some of this heat energy inside here depletes, the ether ring barrier will not be disarmed. The ether ring barrier had been running on the power from the outside for just an instant. After that, the heat from within had been converted into energy and was stubbornly keeping it activated. And currently, the immense difference in pressure on the inside and outside was also suppressed, and this state was perfectly maintained. As long as they were in this incomparably powerful barrier, the Resistance's army would be useless. However, Feldera looked undaunted. Humph. How foolish. Do not underestimate me, Zaza. This barrier. I need only break it. Feldera said this most shocking thing. No. Surely that is impossible, he was about to say, but the words froze on his lips. This was because right in front of him, Feldera had broken the ether ring barrier. Dragoon punch. And he did it in one hit. Ridiculous. Zaza thought. It was as if Feldera was mocking Zaza's will to no longer be surprised by anything. Reality just kept being redefined in front of him. I'm too tired, Zaza groaned. Indeed, it was as Feldera had said. Humans just believed what they wanted to believe. The truth hurt. And so he decided to believe Feldera without doubt from now on. Wonderful. Well then, I shall now test this power that you have given to me. Zaza said with a grin. There was no hesitation in his voice now. All of his doubts had been blown away. Zaza had found hope in this desolate world. And he wasn't the only one. Ka ha 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 ha. Oh, Zaza. Your face looks so much better now. Good, let's go. We must show them our true power. Feldera shouted as he jumped out excitedly. His joyous voice reverberated within the hearts of the resistance, which had been dark and closed. Zaza. I feel hope for the first time. Me too. Let's do this. I don't even care if Michelle is on our side or not. We'll wreak havoc on the Empire. Yes. If she's an enemy, we'll just have to defeat her like the others. Indeed. The members of the resistance had all but given up as they suffered long and hard. But now, at this moment, they fully believed in Feldera. The enemy wasn't the Empire. It was our hearts that had lost hope. We can do this. We'll draw as much attention as possible without getting in his way. Zaza shouted as he thrust his fist into the air. Everyone else laughed and nodded at those words. The enemy was the massive Empire. However, an unreasonable child who knew nothing of what was normal was now with them. They could not lose Zaza and the others were sure of it. And so they marched out to battle. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe for more content.